name is Rafael and I'm a Warrior Addict brand warrior. This is a shortened version of my Yoga for Cyclists video. It covers some of the same key principles and poses to help if you cycle a lot, particularly working through the quads and through the shoulders. But also it's a condensed video that's really going to help to free up area in the hips and give you a little bit more movement, whether you've been injured, whether you're upping your game, or whether you're new to the bike. So I'm going to assume you're a little bit warm already. If you're not, stop the video, do 3 or 4 sun salutations, get a bit warm, and then let's move into downward dog. 2 things you might need that would be helpful would be a foam block or something to pad up, like a towel, or a strap. And again, if you don't have the strap, you can use the towel. So a towel can do a lot of things for you. Let's find our downward facing dog to begin. Find your way all the way into your down dog. Hands shoulder width apart, hips lifting. Send the hips a little higher. Keep the knees a bit bent to begin with. Send your tailbone up, feel the shoulders open. If your shoulders feel a little bit tight, you could turn the hands to face the outside edges of the mat. Keep lifting your tailbone and the sitting bones up so your spine is long. And keep that action as you start to lengthen the legs. If you feel your back begin to round like this, pause, lengthen the spine, and breathe here. Now as you inhale, begin to lift the right leg up and back. Take a moment, reach the foot high. And then as you exhale, gently step the foot forwards, lower the back knee down. Climb onto the knee, come into a low lunge position. From here, imagine you could lift the front of the hips up, almost like you could tuck the pelvis gently, but you're lifting from the hips, rising up. Keep the lower ribs contained in. So as you lower down, the ribs don't flare forwards, you don't come into a back bend. As you lower down, you keep the ribs in, you keep lifting up to the front of the body, and your hands rest down. And if you cycle a lot, you are going to feel this in the top of your left thigh. As you lower the hips down, you really start to lengthen through the hip flexors that get really overactive if you cycle a lot. The chest stays lifted, the ribs stay gently coming in. Each breath out allows you to soften a little bit. And then slowly release the hands down. From here, stepping back, plank position, take a chaturanga. Take a cobra or an up dog, lift the chest, press the floor away, feel the shoulders open, chest open, downward facing dog. From here, the left leg rises. Pause and breathe. Really lengthen the back leg. Use a bit of strength to lift the leg up. Feel the hip open. And then exhale, stepping forwards, bring the back knee down. Climb onto the thigh, kneeling position. Again, draw up to the front of the pelvis. Keep the lower ribs a little inwards. As you do that, lower forwards and down. Lower back stays long. So rather than collapsing in, there's a little bit of activity going on in the core. Allow the breath to be smooth and deep. You might even wiggle the jaw a little bit. See if that could relax the throat and the muscles of the neck and the shoulders. One more breath. And then slowly release, stepping back, plank position, chaturanga. Cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog. From here, inhale the right leg up. Big step forwards. Back knee down. This time, find your foam block or use a towel to really pad up through the back knee. Coming back into that lunge position. hands onto the front thigh. Same as before, lift up through the front of the pelvis, your pubic bone is coming up actually, and start to lower forwards and down. This might be deep enough, or you might begin to reach your left hand back, bend your knee and catch the foot. If it's miles away, you could use a towel to lasso the foot, although it's challenging, and bring the foot in. Either way, if you have the foot coming in, bring the heel in towards the glute, quad stretch. Heel comes in towards the glutes. As you keep lifting up, you'll notice that deepens the stretch of the psoas, which again, if you're a regular cyclist, you will know that that gets pretty tight. And you can keep continuing to lower forwards and down as the heel comes in. You might be quite high up if you're really quite tight here at the moment. Over time you'll get lower and lower and lower, and the heel will continue to come in. You find real depth and length through the front of the left hip. Another couple of breaths. And then slowly release. From here, tuck your back toes. We're going to start to sit back towards the left heel. Come onto your fingertips and bring your fingertips a little closer. Your right hip draws back and your right leg straightens. This might be far enough, but if you have more room, keep sitting back. And eventually we're folding over that front leg, long through the spine and the front of the body. Hamstring stretch in the right leg. Use your hands to support you, whether you're really low down here or whether you're higher up. Another 2 or 3 breaths. And then slowly coming forwards. From here, bring your fingertips around the front foot, bring the hands down. Lift your back knee into a low lunge. You might work here, or you might begin to take your hips back, maybe coming onto the fingertips to give yourself some more room. Both legs eventually lengthening. Draw your right hip back, lengthen the spine. Here you might pulse. You might inhale forwards, and then exhale back. Twice more. Inhale forwards, hands down, step it back, down dog, or you might take chaturanga in a vinyasa. Once you arrive back in your down dog, inhale, lift the left leg up. And a big step forwards. Shift your block over, right knee comes down. Coming up, kneeling position. Lift through the pubic bone, and begin to lower forwards and down. Keep a little containment of the lower ribs coming back and in softly. You might breathe here if this is deep enough, or you might catch the back foot, bring the heel in. There's a virtuous circle here. As the heel comes in, the front of the hips go up, and the whole of the pelvis goes down. Heel comes in, pubic bone comes up, pelvis goes down. And you find it really starts to create length and sensation through the front of the right thigh and the hip. You might even come onto your left elbow. A few more breaths here. And then slowly releasing. Tuck your back toes, creep back towards the heel, straighten the front leg. Your toes are coming in the direction of the knee as you lengthen the spine. You might be higher up, or you might be all the way down. Hands to the floor, eventually head to the inside of the shin. It's more important to find length through the leg and the spine than to get really low and crunch in. Instead, find that length. And often people think this is going to be more intense through the hamstring, and actually they realise it's the back foot, it's the toes. They also get quite a deep stretch here. One more breath. And now slowly coming forwards. Step your way back. You might stay in down dog, or you might take a chaturanga and your vinyasa. From down dog, move your prop out of the way if you have one. We're going to lower all the way down. So we're going to come to a kneeling position with a strap or a towel. Now, for a lot of guys, this position is really uncomfortable. If being here is way, way, way too intense for your ankles or for your thighs, you can tuck your toes and come to this kneeling position. Otherwise, if it's possible, work here and you'll feel a little bit of quite a lot of a stretch to the front of the knees and the ankles. Again, this can be a really helpful position to create a little space in the knee and the ankle if those areas have gotten tight from a lot of cycling, a lot of activity. So you might be here or here. Either way, we're going to take the strap or the towel in the right hand and lift it overhead. From here, take your left hand and find the strap. Walk the hands towards each other for a deep shoulder stretch. Think of the right elbow going up and the left elbow coming down. And also what can happen here is that the ribs can flare out again. We can end up doing this and coming into a back bend, which makes it so much easier for the shoulders. Instead, bring the ribs in again, so you flatten the front of the body. You might find that a little deeper in the shoulder. If you start to look forwards, you'll press the head into the arm, and that again will open the shoulder. But notice if that causes your ribs to flare out as well. Keep the ribs in. 2 more breaths. And slowly release. We'll switch sides. Left hand comes up. And then catch the strap in the right hand. The hands walk towards each other down the strap. To that spot where you feel there's a deep stretch. There's not much more room to go. Don't force your way all the way to your limit, but find a good depth of stretch. Left elbow up, right elbow down, ribs coming in. Take the back of the head slightly backwards, looking forwards. Notice how a deep, slow breath here helps, 1, to increase the stretch, then 2, to help release into it. Last couple of breaths here. And then slowly release. Take the strap off to one side and move your block out of the way. So one last little thing we're going to do here, lie down on the back and find your strap or your towel. It's going to come around the ball of the left foot to begin. Lengthen the leg up, both legs long. Now, the fun bit. We're going to take the strap into the right hand and take your left hand and rest it at your hip, almost like you could hold the hip down slightly. We're going to start to cross the leg over the body and find the IT band. So as the leg crosses over, it stays long. And your left hand is resting at the hip. You could even take your thumb into the little crease in the hip and imagine you could draw the hip back as the leg comes across, like you're lengthening the leg from both ends. You might also push the hand away slightly. You'll find a different part of the stretch. Just have a few breaths here. If this is super intense for you, it might be a good one for you to repeat more regularly. And slowly coming back. And then we are going to switch sides. From here, both legs straight. Strap into the left hand, right hand to the hip, and crossing over the body. You can see I've had to move because I've got a wall here, but you could do this near a wall actually, because then you can rest your foot on the wall and it gives you a little bit of assistance in the stretch. My right hand is going to draw the hip away from me. And I'm going to breathe pretty deeply to stay here with this quite intense stretch. Often when we think about opening the hips, we think a lot about positions which bring the leg away from the centre of the body, rather than across the centre of the body like we're doing here. So we don't get into the outside of the hip, the IT band as much. So it's really helpful to do this. One more breath. And then slowly coming back in. Take your strap to one side, stretch your legs out, give them a little bit of a wiggle. You might need some space. And then setting up for Shavasana. Take a slow breath in. And a breath out. You might scan down through the body, relaxing the jaw, the shoulders, the muscles of the back, and particularly relaxing the muscles around and in the pelvis, the legs, the feet. You might stay here for a little while longer, or when you're ready coming up. So this is a good sequence if you need a kind of quick fix, if you're doing a lot of cycling, or if you've just started and the muscles are tight from that kind of new motion. Generally we look to open through the front of the hip and the outer hip and the shoulders, because those are the areas that can get really tight through a lot of time on the bike. I hope that's helpful, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.